Mahatma Gandhi and Nelson Mandela are revered globally for their nonviolent resistance to oppression, dedicated pursuit of justice, and moral leadership. Although from vastly different cultural and historical backgrounds, both men demonstrated extraordinary resilience and commitment to freedom, equality, and nonviolence. Here's a comparative exploration of their lives, philosophies, and legacies. 1. Early life and influences. Mahatma Gandhi. Born on October 2, 1869, in Porbandar, India, Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi grew up in a Hindu household that valued religious tolerance and compassion. After studying law in London, Gandhi moved to South Africa in 1893, where he first experienced racial discrimination. This experience awakened his social consciousness and influenced his concept of satyagraha, or nonviolent resistance. Gandhi was influenced by religious texts like the Bhagavad Gita, Jainism's principles of ahimsa, nonviolence, and writers like Leo Tolstoy, whose works on Christian anarchism left a deep impression. His life in South Africa laid the groundwork for his resistance strategies against British colonial rule in India. Nelson Mandela. Born on July 18, 1918, in the village of Mvezo, South Africa, Mandela grew up within the Thembu royal family in a society deeply divided by apartheid. Influenced by his guardian, Chief Jongantaba, and inspired by African nationalist movements, Mandela pursued law, becoming one of South Africa's first black lawyers. Unlike Gandhi, Mandela's early activism involved forming a paramilitary group, Umkhonto we Sizwe, Spear of the Nation, in response to the intensifying brutality of apartheid. However, his underlying aim was always to dismantle the institutionalized racial discrimination that apartheid represented. 2. Philosophies of resistance. Nonviolent resistance, Gandhi. Gandhi's philosophy of satyagraha, or truth force, was based on the principle of nonviolent resistance. He believed that moral force, rather than physical force, was the most effective means to achieve justice. Gandhi organized boycotts, protests, and movements, including the Non-Cooperation Movement, 1920, and the Salt March, 1930, challenging oppressive British laws with peaceful civil disobedience. Gandhi's approach required participants to be disciplined, endure suffering, and avoid retaliation. He believed this would reveal the moral high ground and inspire change in the hearts of oppressors. Transformative resistance, Mandela. Mandela initially championed nonviolent resistance through the African National Congress, ANC Youth League. However, after the Sharpeville Massacre of 1960, in which police killed peaceful protesters, Mandela turned to more direct action. He co-founded Umkhonto we Sizwe, advocating for limited sabotage to avoid loss of life while protesting apartheid's injustices. Mandela's pragmatic stance was distinct from Gandhi's unwavering commitment to nonviolence. Yet, like Gandhi, he believed in dialogue and reconciliation as necessary for the long-term health of his country. After 27 years in prison, he emerged as an advocate of peace, symbolizing forgiveness and cooperation. 3. Leadership style and public influence. Gandhi. Gandhi's leadership was rooted in moral authority. He lived a life of simplicity and self-sacrifice, practicing what he preached and becoming a symbol of hope for millions. His humility and lifestyle choices, such as wearing homespun clothes and undertaking fasts, made him relatable to the masses, strengthening his influence and helping him mobilize people across India. His efforts culminated in India's independence in 1947. However, he faced criticism for his compromises with the British and his approach to Hindu-Muslim unity, which some felt had left India vulnerable to partition violence. Mandela. His pragmatism and charisma characterized Mandela's leadership. His imprisonment for nearly 3 decades made him a symbol of resistance and an international icon of the anti-apartheid movement. His ability to unify diverse factions was evident when he emerged from prison, advocating for peace and reconciliation rather than revenge. Elected South Africa's first black president in 1994, Mandela prioritized national healing and unity. He initiated policies aimed at racial reconciliation, including establishing the Truth and Reconciliation Commission, which allowed apartheid-era crimes to be acknowledged without fear of retaliation. 4. Legacy and impact. Gandhi's legacy. Gandhi's philosophy of nonviolence inspired numerous global movements, including the American Civil Rights Movement led by Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and the South African anti-apartheid struggle. His teachings on peace and tolerance remain influential, though debates continue over his perspectives on race and his compromises during the partition of India. Today, Gandhi is honored as the father of the nation in India. His birthday is celebrated as the International Day of Nonviolence, and his life serves as a moral framework for peaceful resistance. Mandela's legacy. Mandela is remembered as the father of modern South Africa and a global icon of peace and forgiveness. His leadership helped dismantle apartheid, allowing for a multiracial democracy to flourish. Mandela's legacy also includes his emphasis on education, social equity, and reconciliation, which has left an indelible mark on South Africa and the world. Mandela's contributions to peace earned him the Nobel Peace Prize in 1993, and his life inspired countless others. His birthday, July 18th, is now celebrated as Nelson Mandela International Day, encouraging individuals worldwide to contribute positively to society. 5. Key similarities and differences. Similarities. Gandhi and Mandela sought to address and dismantle systemic injustice within their societies. Each man endured imprisonment, hardship, and personal sacrifice in their struggle for justice and freedom. They became symbols of hope, inspiring millions through their values, integrity, and commitment to peace. Differences. While Gandhi adhered strictly to nonviolent principles, Mandela adapted his approach to include armed resistance when necessary, although he ultimately returned to nonviolence. Gandhi's fight was primarily against colonial rule, whereas Mandela's struggle was against racial oppression by his government. Gandhi's spirituality and philosophy were rooted in Indian religious traditions, while Mandela's activism was secular and informed by his African heritage. In conclusion, Gandhi and Mandela left legacies that transcend their time and location. They advocated for justice and equality in a manner that has shaped the global human rights landscape. Although their approaches and specific contexts differed, they shared a profound dedication to nonviolence and human dignity. Today, they remain beacons of resistance against oppression and exemplify the power of resilience and moral courage in the face of immense adversity. Please subscribe to the channel